PlayStation has finally decided to share the particulars about when and where their E3 press conference is, and in a very weird and bold move, dare I say, also spoiled the first-party games that you will be seeing at this year's PlayStation conference. What's going on, guys? Randall Thor19, the man with the million, back again with another video, and hope everyone's having a great start to the weekend. I know a lot of PlayStation fans are, as they finally got confirmation about the titles and when we can check out the PlayStation conference, which will be on Monday, June 11th at 6 p.m. Pacific, so 8 o'clock Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. But in a weird move, Sony announced exactly what you'll be seeing from them in particular, and I'm going to read it to you guys here from the PlayStation blog really quickly, and we're going to discuss it. They go, in a rare break from tradition, yes, very rare break, we wanted to give you an early glimpse at what to expect heading into the showcase on June 11th. PlayStation's worldwide studios will be at E3 in full force to provide you with an exclusive look at 4 upcoming titles: Death Stranding from Kojima Productions, Ghost of Tsushima from Sucker Punch, Marvel's Spider-Man from Insomniac Games, and The Last of Us Part 2 from Naughty Dog. Of course, we'll still have stellar announcements from third-party publishers and independent developers who are all busy devising innovative new experiences that will make your heart race and your emotions soar, whether you're playing on the PlayStation 4, PS4 Pro, or PSVR. So it sounds like your typical press conference. Sony's going to have their first-party games there, and they're, of course, going to be the marketing deals that they have for the bigger games this holiday, like, Call of Duty, Black Ops 4, Red Dead Redemption 2, maybe throw in their Rocksteady's new Batman, Superman game, or whatever have you. Those will be surprises because those aren't announced. But Sony went out ahead and, in my opinion, are trying to manage expectations for their conference. You see, I've been working on my predictions for Sony and Microsoft and a couple of the other publishers for videos next week. And what Sony just announced, the 4 games that are going to be there, are the 4 games that I had listed in my thing and nothing else. And I think a lot of people need to realize, some PlayStation fans need to realize, that this represents the end of the PlayStation 4. These 4 games, 5 if you include Days Gone, they represent the end of the PlayStation 4 era, right? But there's this common, maybe hope or thought that perhaps there is a hidden AAA exclusive that Sony just, is hiding away, and that they haven't shown or talked about at all, and it's just waiting to come at E3. But the truth of the matter is back in 2016, when Sony showed God of War, and they showed Days Gone and Spider-Man, and they showed Ghost of Tsushima and all this stuff, Last of Us Part 2 at PSX, and had Kojima come out there for Death Stranding, that all represented basically the next 4 years of the PlayStation 4 ecosystem leading up into the PlayStation 5. And I don't think people fully realize that. And I think because of that, Sony decided to come out and say, look, you're going to get deep dives on all 4 of these games. Now, are all 4 of these games coming out in 2019? I don't think so. I think some of these will come out in 2019 and some will come out in 2020. But this is the last exclusives you'll get from Sony this generation. I mean, we know exactly what Sony's studios are working on. We know, the studios that just finished work on their previous exclusives that are starting up on PlayStation 5. God of War 2 will be a PlayStation 5 exclusive whenever that comes out, whether it's 2021 or 2022. Horizon Zero Dawn is probably close to a launch game for the PlayStation 5, a 2020 title. So a lot of their studios have moved on. And I don't think a lot of fans are ready to accept that yet. They want to believe that the PlayStation 4 will live forever. And it will live on past the PlayStation 5, just like the PlayStation 2 did, just like the PS3 did. But like any generation, is once the new system comes out, Sony stops supporting it with their first-party games. And I think that is what this represents. This rare break from tradition where Sony's coming out here and telling you, listen, you're only going to see 4 games from us. Don't expect anything else. Yeah, the third-party stuff is kind of, you can guess at. But this is it. This is the end of the road. These are the last exclusives we have for the console. And how they're going to do it? I mean, it's probably going to be a traditional show. I would imagine you're going to have a 10-minute like deep dive on Death Stranding gameplay. You'll have a 10-minute deep dive on Ghost of Tsushima gameplay. I mean, the Spider-Man thing, I don't really need to see any more Spider-Man. We've seen a whole bunch of gameplay from all the different E3s, plus all the Game Informer stuff. But it's there because it's a huge game and a huge franchise, and Spider-Man is maybe at the height of its popularity with the Avengers movie, coming out and stuff. So it's like, we're going to see probably more gameplay from that, but we don't necessarily need to. I don't need to. I'm getting in the game day one. And of course, people are going to, be super excited to see finally gameplay for Last of Us Part 2. And that's going to be it. And then maybe they'll have release dates, or at least release years for this stuff. Maybe we'll finally get a trailer that says Death Stranding with an actual year on it. Maybe 2020. Last of Us 2 will probably have a date with the gameplay. Maybe it says 2019. Ghost of Tsushima, same thing. Maybe that's 2020. Maybe it's 2019. I don't know. Either way, these 4 titles, alongside Days Gone, represent the end of the PlayStation 4 for Sony. Not the end for you guys, but the end of their support. Because they're moving on to the PlayStation 5. And I think that's what this all basically is about. Now, some of you have asked, hey, what about Days Gone? Why isn't Days Gone on here? That's a big title. Why isn't it on this list? And it's quite simple. Have you not been paying attention to what Game Informer has been doing? They have a gigantic blowout about everything you could want to know about Days Gone. They have the first hour, the literal first hour of Days Gone available to watch, including another 40 minutes that they just posted today. Everything you wanted to ever know about Days Gone is in that stuff. There's no need to, once again, put that at E3. It's already been at the last 2. They don't need it again. And partially, I also think Days Gone and all this stuff is there to maybe potentially take away some mindshare from State of Decay 2, Microsoft's zombie game, which is launching in a few days, and then Sony comes and drops gameplay from their AAA zombie game, which isn't releasing for another 9 months. It kind of makes you sit back and wonder, be like, man, Sony is pretty savage when it comes to this stuff. Business is business, and you got to put your best foot forward. It's like they're releasing all this info about their zombie game right when Microsoft's zombie game releases that is 9 months away, and then they're not even going to bother to show it at E3 because they just wanted to get a game in the consciousness of people before heading to E3, and then they can talk about these 4 games at E3 and then move on. So, I don't know. They also could do a similar setup to PSX, where they talk about the deep dive of these things. Maybe they bring out developer, they do an interview, they show off gameplay from it. But I really think when they mean in a rare break from tradition, it's just them basically telling everybody beforehand, hey, this is what to expect from us. Now, some fans like that, like me, it's like, okay, I know what to expect now. I was expecting this already, but some people don't like to get spoiled. They don't like the Walmart E3 leaks, even if they're real or not real, right? They don't like it when people do prediction videos. They don't like it, especially when it's from a source like Sony telling you what to expect. They want it to be surprised. But now that the information is out there, now that you know exactly what to expect from Sony, people can manage their expectations and maybe come across a little bit, hey, you know what? The show wasn't so bad. Because if you didn't know what to expect, and it was just as 4 games, and you have seen Death Stranding at every E3 for the last couple years, and Spider-Man at every E3 the last couple years, you might be like, you know what? Why don't you show something new? I'm sick of seeing the same old games. But of course, the problem there is, like I said, there are no new games. They're not going to be showing the PS5 and the PS5 games yet. They still have a couple years until they get that point. So that's why they came out here beforehand, to set everyone's expectations straight and be like, this is it. These are the last 4 games that PlayStation users are going to get exclusive. Because after this, it's all PlayStation 5. So it's basically a holding pattern, guys. It's basically a holding pattern until they are ready to announce the PlayStation 5, do a February, March announcement at New York like they always do for a new system, and then that E3 will be all about the PlayStation 5. And since we know it's not this year, that rules out 2018. It still could be next year, but I highly doubt the PlayStation 5 comes out next year. It's probably a 2020, but even still, this makes you wonder exactly what E3 2019 is going to bring, because I expect at least Spider-Man. Well, obviously Spider-Man can't be there next year. I would expect Ghost of Tsushima to... I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I don't know when these games are coming out, but they obviously can't run those again next year. So what do you guys think about all this stuff? Are you excited to know what Sony's showing, or are you more excited to find out what the third-party stuff is going to be? Like, is it Call of Duty? Is it Red Dead? Is it the Batman game? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Consider subscribing to the channel for more content. Hit the notification bell so you're always notified when I drop said content. And share this out on Twitter, social media, all that good stuff so more people can come check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see everybody in the next video. Later, guys.